Welcome, family, to episode 21 of the Big Money No Problem Talk podcast show, man, where we get straight to the point, man. I'm Chuck, a.k.a. Big Will, with my brother from another on that side, A.G., a.k.a. Mr. Ileana Jones.
Yo, yo.
Already, so we want to let y'all know, man, that Big Money No Problem Talk podcast show is sponsored by Mill Hub Media, Profound Entertainment, where they have a selection of new artists and gamers. Also, remember to check out the Big Money No Problem Talk podcast show over those internet airwaves. You will be able to check us out on One United Radio station, which you all will be able to stream at oneunitedradio.com, or you can download the One United Radio app. You will also be able to check us out every other Saturday from 5 to 6 on the number one base internet radio station out of Houston, Texas, which can be streamed live at 92kelz.com. Or you can download the 92kelz app to tune in. So as we always like to say, man, continue to support our movement. Hey, just be on the lookout for more moves to be made to further this platform and to continue to give our listeners what they want to hear. So stay tuned in. So as I always like to say, man, welcome again and again and again, 21 times over now, to the Big Money No Problem Solved podcast show, man, where we get straight and to the point, man. We got a straight to the point conversation. AG, go ahead and introduce our family tonight.
What's up, everybody? We got a heavy hitter today, a good brother right here, OG King Curt. Heavy in the gaming field, the NBA 2K League, you know what I'm saying? Good solid brother right here. So we like to welcome him on the show. Welcome, OG.
Hey, I appreciate it, man. Thank y'all for having me on.
No problem,
Appreciate you. So as we always say, man, do what you gotta do to vibe out with us during this episode tonight. Let's get straight into the point, man. So as we always like to do, to kind of jump right into it, man, before we get into the story, let's kind of talk about the top that's kind of been at least the last couple of days, man. What's your reaction to the Breonna Taylor non-charges filed and that process? What's your thought process?
I mean, it's been a time. Like I said, we've been dealing with things like this for a while, and what really made 2020 totally different is you throw a pandemic in there, we still dealing with things on top of it. So that's the thing. The world paused in certain areas and it kept rotating in others. And that's it's just, I feel a lot of times, I think I read the other day, like we went from a period from being informed to disinformed. And a lot of it is that right now it's a matter. We playing the blame game. We playing. We believe who we want to believe. We don't know where the truth is at. And I think that confusion. I mean, that's in certain parts of the world. That's the best way to control is have the world in chaos and pick sides. So it's tough because from the angle that we get, you hurt for her family and what happened to her and everything like that, and then on the other angle, they're always spinning to make you think that maybe things are just when we constantly see a lot of injustice going on, and like I said before, is that we have come to a time where basically, we see crimes committed. And we see certain individuals get off, and we see in other instances, if it was, people of color, they don't get off, and I think that's really going to constantly be in play where people are going to be emotional and upset and confused and really don't know what to do.
Real deal. And I agree with you, man. Like, confusion and chaos is the best way to keep the masses under control. You know what I'm saying? Because there's no way being confused and in the chaotic situation, there's no way that you can, position yourself in a sense to rise above what's going on around you.
No doubt. I mean, it's kind of like, anybody who got kids, I mean, you can you can manipulate by confusing your kid, tell them to do something 1 second, and then the next second tell them to do something else, and that's basically what happens to us. 1 minute they say comply, and then the next minute you see somebody complying, and still, things happen. So it's a tough time right now.
I think that's kind of how it is with the protesting too. It's like, yeah, you say, hey, yeah, we support your protest. Go out and protest peacefully, but you know what I mean.
It's always
people
that
are visual. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. So, but when you protesting peacefully and you got armed cops and whatnot out there, you know what I mean. That kind of heightens your senses a little bit. It kind of puts you in a mode of, you know what I'm saying, being a little more not violent, but it's like being a little more energetic with your movement.
Yeah. I think, and when you talk about protesting, a lot of people say, man, I know the looting, the rioting, and setting things on fire, and I get it. I mean, but I came to thought last night when I was scrolling through Facebook and seeing a partner of mine put like, what's burning things down going to do, and I said, you know what, it did a number on us when during the time when our communities were thriving and everything like that. It wasn't no problem for anybody else to come through and burn people's house down and set crosses. I mean, the whole nine. And we see how things have gradually changed over the years. And really, when I say change, I call it's like disguise, because a lot of blacks are in quote unquote better position, but how many? It's selective and everything like that. But let's not act like things have not been disguised, and now we're slowly seeing it as we're in the social media era where things are on video, at a high exposure. I mean, what it did for me is, like, I'll be 42 this year, and what it made me think about was when I was a kid, this stuff was going on, but we didn't see it. Rodney King was the biggest thing that we had seen.
That was a big one.
Right.
But I'm sure it was hundreds of other Rodney Kings that never got recorded or we never seen. And
and I was gonna say it's the same playbook too, because even in the Rodney King situation, they tore LA up because the cops didn't get charged. Like, you see people getting beat crazy on the streets, and that was back in the early 90s. So now you're looking at 2020, and it's the same issues. When you look at what happened to Philando Castile, Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery, and the list keep going on, and it's the same playbook. Where's the charges at? What are we doing out here?
The thing about it with me, and I don't want people to get it twisted, is that I don't like negativity in any form, whether it's from blacks, whether it's from whites, whether it's from any human being. Like, I mean, my whole platform and what I stand for is positivity, motivation, and inspiration. So, like, just to clean that air, but at the same time, it's like, we get examples in front of us, and they make it where, like, okay, like I see a lot of people talking about the family, took the money, but yet and still, like, no justice. So basically, they made it in a sense like it was paid for, and like, I get how some people look at the angle, because for me, I don't go back and forth about who's right or who's wrong. I look for try to find an understanding and what's being said, and everything with that is like, America has loopholes in everything.
And I mean, in the court system, in the everything. That's why it's so essential for you to have a lawyer. For official documents and representation and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? Because there's so many loopholes, just as you said.
Yeah, and while we saying that, shout out to Justin Jacobson, my manager, who looks over every paperwork that comes across, because I've experienced some things, so I mean, that's definitely important.
Okay.
Exactly, and that's what I tell people when people talk about the 12 mil and everything like that. I'm like, yeah, they got the money, and I felt like that was still lowballing, in my opinion. But at the same time, it was like that 12 million doesn't equal up to an empty seat the dinner table now because of an incident that shouldn't have happened. You know what I'm saying? So you can't knock the family for getting they just due for an unjust murder. You know what I'm saying? And then still feel like because they got the money and try to equate that with that's the payoff for the cops to be able to now do what they said. Nah, I mean, wrong is wrong because we don't see that same type of justice. If we shoot blindly somewhere,
nobody's life has a price tag on it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Not, but like you said, I mean, you can't knock them. I mean, if it was me, you know what I'm saying? My family better take that money. Are you for real?
I mean,
you better take that money.
Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate that we even have to talk about the things as such. I remember, my mom passed away a couple of years ago, and she used to always talk about death, like if I die this time, you get this certain amount. If I die this, and it's to be like, Mom, I ain't trying to hear that, whatever. But she had things like that planned out, and we know it mostly in our culture. A lot of times that those things aren't planned out, and it's a lot of pain and suffering and monetary suffering when a lot of people pass too. So, I mean, I said.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, bro.
I'm just saying. I just hate that we even to the point where because it's priceless. Like you're right, that 12 million, because at the end of the day, I think what I've learned throughout this whole pandemic and everything with money is that when everything is taken away, that you normally use money for, what's important now? Like who is important? Like those are the two things that crossed my mind, and after I really inhaled that, man, my money been staying in my pocket, really.
Hey, and that's real talk. You know what I mean? I was talking to somebody about that the other day. It was like, it's crazy. You know what I mean? I like the little miscellaneous running around, ripping and running, you know what I'm saying? That you just kind of cutting out, you know what I'm saying? The hanging out more, the whatnot, you know what I mean? It's crazy the difference in, you know what I mean, your pockets, your accounts, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
This pandemic that definitely slowed people down, and it kind of puts you into a thought process of where you got to understand what's really, really important out here. We starting to see that life really does matter.
Yeah, because even if you take the common activities out the window for a minute, from going out, going to the movies, look, the little simple things,
out to eat, the bars, the lounges, you know what I'm saying? I mean, heck, even the gas. I mean, you ain't burning gas. You know what I'm saying? Just driving every damn where. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. So just to kind of segue a little bit over, just kind of talk about your upbringing, man. Just where you from and how you been moving.
Man, born and raised Dayton, Ohio. Grew up with my grandma and her husband. Patricia Curtis, James Bradford. My mom, I have a twin brother. Born 1978. My mom, she passed away when I was 2. So I called I called my grandma who raised me. That I called her my mom. I couldn't call her anything else but mom, because that's all I really knew. And we didn't really miss a beat. I mean, when we really got to the point where we were old enough to understand, it hurt, because it's always those what ifs, at times. But my mom, she, my grandma, she took care of us, raised us as her own. She had already, all her kids were grown and everything like that. Her husband, like I said, James Bradford, he was a true dad. He was there for me and my brother. Learned a lot of, learned everything that I really needed to know right there in my home. I had my older brother, because basically my aunts and uncles, they became my older brothers and sisters. We, at that point, and they stayed in the house. We was a big old family till everybody got to moving out. But I always say it always felt different for me, because I don't have no horror stories of my childhood or anything like that. It was, it was about as perfect as it could be. Other than growing up without my biological mom, but like I said, I had support, love, and care, and they really taught me a lot of the values that I hold on to today. I mean, by just really working hard and focusing on what the necessary and I ain't saying I've been perfect the whole time, but hit my head and learning some things here and there. But I think they gave me the great foundation to get to the point to where I'm at, and I'm thankful for that. I graduated from Paul Lawrence Dunbar High School. Upon graduating high school, I went into the military, and that's I think when my life really started to like shift. I was supposed to go to
what branch?
United States Navy.
Okay, I was in.
Okay, yeah. I was supposed to go to college and play at a JUCO here in Ohio, and got caught up, and really like I didn't have no scholarships offers at the end of my senior year. So my high school coach was taking me to like open gyms to play in front of college coaches and different stuff like that. But in between that, I got to talking to the naval recruiter, and he got me. Like, and when I say got me, y'all really about to get some exclusive because I ain't really, I've never told this story to anybody.
We appreciate it, bro. We appreciate it.
But basically, Dave Mangus, I'll never forget his name. Probably when I'm laying on my bed, I'll never forget his name. Started talking to him the end of my junior year, going into my senior year. Didn't really know anything about the military or nothing like that, but he stayed in touch with me. I was supposed to be going to different trainings, never went. Just kept hooping. Like I said, at the end of my senior year, my coach was taking me around. Finally, had got a scholarship offer, but I had talked to the recruiter. Now, my mom, she was the type, she let us be our own man at an early age. Like, I mean, and I don't knock her for that. Like, she gave us what she felt we needed. And then at some point, she was like, I'm going to let you get out there and walk on your own 2 feet. So,
that's the only way.
Yeah. So, but in this point, I done talked to the recruiter, and he's basically telling me I'm in. Like, so I played 2 summer league games with the junior college. I had 2 good games. It was a really good team too. After my second game, the recruiter came to my house, picked me up, took me to Indianapolis.
For real?
Yeah, real talk. This is what I'm saying. Like, when my mom let us be our own, like, she ain't, so good to Indianapolis, go to the swearing, fly from Indianapolis to Great Lake, Illinois. Boom, I'm in boot camp, bro. Like, my whole life shifted in less than 24 hours. And at this point, like,
I said I wasn't ready.
I wasn't, man. Hey, I get the boot camp. Now, I ain't never been defiant. None my whole. I've been laid back, quiet kid. Never, I like to hoop. I like school and I like girls. That was all I was really into. I wasn't really like into the streets. Yeah, exactly. But I get the boot camp, and like I'm realizing, like, I ain't supposed to be here, man. Like, and so I started acting like I mean, I'm bugging out, like. And so it was a brother. I can't remember his name, but he came to me and he was like, "Look, I don't know who you are. I don't know your story." He said, "But I'm gonna tell you, the way you acting and what you're doing is not the right way." And at that point, I tightened up. You know what I'm saying? I went through it, filled out the paperwork. Now this is the kicker, bro. They had hey, I'm telling you, because this is deep right here. Like, they had a point when you was filling out paperwork that on the back you could write a story to your parents. Because at this point, I'm thinking my mom probably don't know where I'm at. But I'm out of school. I'm out of school.
You ain't make no phone. You wasn't able to make a phone call or nothing.
No.
They hijacked you.
So like, she knew I had left, but she didn't have no clue where I went. So she probably think I'm coming back. So on the back, I write the story, tell her everything that went on. Now, mind you, when you write this story, they give you a box and you put in the clothes that you had on and everything, shoes, socks, whatever you had, you put in this box. You put the paper in there, you seal the box up, and you ship it back home. So my mom get the box. She think I'm dead. Like like now of course I didn't find this out till later, till when we got to the point where we can make phone calls. And she was like, honey, I thought something happened to you. I'm like, whatever. I'm like, nah, man. I said, I'm in. You know what? Now my mom being a trooper, yeah, it was crazy. My mom being a trooper that she is, she went to the local Congress. She went to everybody and was like, my son need to get out of there, like, or whatever. Now this is at the point where I felt like I felt like really I chose my own destiny as a man, because I said, I made a mistake by talking to somebody, not getting the information, not really know what was going on. Although I was still a child, I was 18. Like, but I took it upon myself the way I was raised and stuff like that. I said, you know what? I said, Ma, I made this. I made this decision. I said, I'm gonna stick with it. I'm gonna stick it out. I could have got out. And
that was an honorable thing to do. That was an honorable thing to do. You know what I'm saying? That was learning life's lessons at, in the preliminaries. You see what I'm saying?
Now I'll tell you this. I agree with you, but I'll tell you this. That ain't for everybody to make that decision though. Like, for me, it worked out because, like I said, the way I was raised, like, and how I was. Because I always tell people, the military is not for everybody.
Nope.
It's for selected individuals. Like, it's not for everybody. So, at this point, I talked to my mom, tell her I'm staying in. Now, the story gets deeper, bro. I get to boot camp. I get assigned to my command and everything like that. Mm-hmm. The coach that I was supposed to play for in college, his son is in the same command as me.
Oh wow!
So
how ironic is that?
You know what I'm saying? I'm telling you, like, and you're gonna see this. Hey, this is gonna be the common theme of my life. I seem like, it seems like my steps have always been ordered. Like, to some degree, when I look back on it, even to where I'm at now. But Coach Larry Leffel, that was the name. Won't forget none of this, because this was arguably the route that got me on to where I'm at. But his son was in there. He said, "Hey man," he was like, "What are you doing here? Like you supposed to be back home playing for my dad." I said, "I know, man." I told him the story. And he was like, "Dang, man, like, and we made made the best of it." My mom, ended up graduating boot camp. The coach came to the ceremony. My mom.
I could only imagine, hey, the son writing his pops a letter. You know what I mean? Like, hey, guess who in this month?
Hey, right.
Guess who I just came across?
Hey, I'm telling you, it couldn't have got no more hurtful inside, like, to me. Like, but like I said, I stuck it out, graduated, went on from boot camp, got stationed in Norfolk, Virginia, and man, that's when I started living. Like,
life got a little bit different than being in Ohio, huh? He was like, "Oh, let me see what this a little bit more of a city life over here out in Norfolk."
Oh yeah, I got out there a little bit. It was military time, man. Young, making money. The stores and car dealerships giving you any and everything or whatever.
That's how they do
it. Yeah. Had a good time. I don't regret none of my time in the military. Met a lot of great people. Some I wish I still was in contact with. Trust, I got a lot of stories. Most I won't air out on for the public, but
right.
This is a great time, man, and like I said, it was fitting for me. I know some people that you better not dare think about going to the military. You know what I'm saying?
Man, I would be one of those people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I did.
That would be.
I did 9.5 years. You know what I'm saying, in the Army, and for me, it like exactly what you're saying. Like, just that path. Like, it is. Like, I tell people, man, the military ain't something you play with, because you mess up here, you mess up forever. You know what I'm saying? That's just the way it's set up. And so when you in that lifestyle, man, yeah, it's a humbling experience through boot camp and everything, when you get really broken down, built back up, and then, you know what I'm saying, you move on with how you're supposed to move. So I definitely understand you being in the Navy, y'all shared y'all kids with the Marines. So I could imagine,
Hey,
you know what I'm saying? Yeah, how y'all went in and everything. So I definitely know, you know what I'm saying? So definitely. But nah, that's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah,
so from a, go ahead.
Nah, I was just gonna say now leading into when I got, did my 4 years. In the midst of that, I got married. The first time. We was together for a minute, but my dad had like I was like I would have re-enlisted. I was already set to re-enlist and everything, and my dad, he passed away in 2001. That was my year 4, and that's what basically made my decision to come back home, be with my mom, be with my twin brother, and make a life here.
Exactly. Cause I tell people, man, even doing that little bit of time, if you ever make the choice, so I would tell anybody, so with my kids, I'm the same way. That's your last resort. I would never make that your first, in my opinion. But I tell a lot of people, man, when you get that time behind you, set for success, really, because you actually learn a lot while you in there. Now you got that federal time behind you. It looks good on the resumes, people paying attention to you. You know what I'm saying? It's just a different type of breed when people know you to test the military a little bit.
No,
You know what I'm
that's true.
saying?
I see.
And
For me,
that's
it
it.
was like, man, everybody, around me is kind of like, let alone the fact that I'd have probably been, very defiant. If you
Oh
don't
yeah, I
get
know.
out
I
my
don't know
face
if you
yelling,
yeah, I'm
yeah,
over there thinking like how basic training for you, yeah, it'd have been a
man,
little different.
bro, if you don't get out my face yelling and stuff, man, nah, this ain't gonna work. You know what I'm saying? But I also came up around the people that was like, it was just the military was just the horrible thing to join. You know what I'm saying? You don't join the white man's military. You know what I mean? But in hindsight, now just like talking to the both of y'all, you know what I'm saying? And I got a couple other guys, and as you Spawn, this is you saying, you kind of set up for success, and I'm seeing that. You know what I mean? I'm seeing that. You know what I mean? The later on, the effect later on down the line. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think for me, like you're only as good as your mindset, and I think like going through that phase for me, and experiencing and witnessing a lot of things, seeing a lot of things at 18. Like, because what people don't realize, like, well, they probably realize, but don't often think about it. But you go in at 18, you interacting with men like that are 30 plus, 40 plus, 50 plus, and man, they not treating you like you just some wet behind the ear high school graduate. Like, I mean, you gotta be ready. I you know for the for the most part in boot camp, I had 2 RDCs, and one of them was real cool and laid back. Funny story with him is he was one of the first ones I told. I said, "Look, man, I ain't even supposed to be here. Like, I'm not. I'm supposed to be playing. I said I'm supposed to be playing basketball." He said, "You want to play basketball?" I'm like, "Yeah." So we had our dog tag.
Oh yeah.
He had me get down and do diamond push-ups, and every time the dog tag hit in the center of the diamond, he was counting them as field goals.
Oh, oh,
Yeah, and then we had one. Now I mean, he was that one. Like, I mean, he was
We all got one.
yeah, he had went for SEALs. I think he had got hurt, so then he started doing RDC, and man, you can feel the anger and frustration every day. Every day.
You taking it out.
Yeah, I would be remiss if I didn't tell this story.
You got to.
Hey, it was like our fifth. I think we was like into our fifth or sixth week of boot camp, and we get to the dining hall. You get up in the morning at 4. You eat, then you don't eat again until like you know the late afternoon, and then you don't. Your last meal is at 4, so you eating like 3 meals between 12 hours. So we get to dinner, and I'm talking about, bro, it was the best dinner that we ever had the whole entire time. I'm talking steak, baked potato, like the whole night.
Hey, them steak nights, I definitely remember those.
Hey, but this part right here, it's probably like 40 of us. So we get through the line, we sit down, and no talking, ain't no talking or nothing like that allowed or whatever. So we sit down and start eating. You know, I'm you know, everybody really just grubbing, man. This smacking everything in their mouth. All of a sudden he come in and he said, everybody get up. Like, get the fuck up. Like, get up. Like, and we like, yo, like, we trying to eat. Like we can't eat again until like 4 a.m. Like, so, and mind you, this was the best meal, bro, that we had the whole time. So at this point, you see brothers, man. Because like I had, it was like brothers in there like 6'5", 6'6", and that was tall for sailors. You know what I'm saying? So hey, and I'm talking about they from the South, so they hurrying up like smashing everything, food flying everywhere. Get through we get up, everybody get up, we throw our food away, we walking out, and all of us was like what's going on? Like this can't even be legal. Like I ain't even gonna lie, bro. When we was marching back to the barracks, a tear came from my eye. A tear came from my eye because I was like, I said somewhere in America this can't be legal, bro. Like we literally about to go to bed with nothing to eat. So we get back, bro, and come to find out when we sat down to eat, 2 cats was in the back talking. Like, and bro, I don't know what happened to them cats. I ain't do nothing to them, but
I know something happened. Yeah.
Hold on, wait. So I mean, you can't talk while you eat?
Can't. Hey, no, only hand signals. Only hand signals.
For real.
Out of basic training, boy, you were nobody. You were
so that's why. So is that like why when I see on the movies when they sit down they.
That's it.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah, that's right.
Hey, because his thing, he said, if you got time to talk, you'd have more than enough time to eat. Like, hey, now it was one rule though. The only way you could talk in the chow hall is during your service week. If you were working, you could talk. And I'm telling you, bro, I took full advantage when it was my service week. And I was standing, because every cute girl that came across, I was running my mouth because once you get out of boot camp, you go over to A school. A school is like military college, so that's where everybody hook up with the dorms and all this and all that. Yeah. So but you had to set it up during boot camp, so you knew what you was getting into by the time you got over there. So, but yeah, I'm telling you, I will never forget that story, bro.
See that right there would I'd have been I'd have probably had that steak tucked in my pocket somewhere, man. You'd have looked over right.
Trust me. We got them stories because people don't understand, man. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna still get back to what we talking about, but when you in the military, when you going through that training, them basic trainings, man, because I had a situation where we had dudes like you would hide the candy because everybody knew you could not have that up in there. Like people was paying damn near $5, $6, $7 for Snickers. That's how crazy it was up in there. People was hustling like that in basic training because people don't understand, man. And we got caught. I remember one night, man. One of the dudes, they on guard. It was funny. They on guard and everything like that. So these dudes found like a path to sneak out the building and go to the store, get what they needed, come back. So the night they sneak out, the drills seen it, but didn't say nothing.
Right.
So they come back. So the next morning we wake up, we thinking everything gravy. Man, they just start tossing all types of candy out the window. They knew where everything was at. Boy, you talking about a long day in basic training that day. That was crazy, boy. But yeah, it was. Yeah, man, it's just funny.
We got similar stories, though. I mean, we got in one time, the whole barracks tore up. Like you got to search for your own stuff, but it all made sense at the end of the day.
It did.
I mean, because when you're on the ship and you out in the water, man, them tides and everything, and the current and all that it knock everything like. So everything made sense. So I'm laughing and joking now, but trust that during them times I was not laughing and joking.
Yeah, at all.
Man, did you ever have one of them times where you was like, I want to go home?
Everybody got those.
Oh yeah, everybody. Yeah, I mean, like, first of all,
I'm gonna go home.
I'll tell you, it's easy for me because you find yourself in a room with 40 guys, 40 plus guys. I'm ready to go home off rip. Like, I mean,
You know what I'm saying?
so, but yeah, it's and that's funny that like segueing into gaming. Like, I have been a heavy gamer since I was a kid, but in the military, once I graduated and then got out of boot camp and A school and went to the boat, everybody liked the game. Like a lot of people played game, and that was the transitioning period for me when Sega Dreamcast came out, and we went from live to 2K, and that pretty much catapulted everything for me. I didn't know how you wanted to lead into that, but it's
but that makes sense though. So that's what I was going to ask you, because I wanted to know, like, when you made that story and you took that leap of faith following this dude, and now you in basic training, you get through that. Did that part, like, was that like the career ended for you in terms of basketball? Was you like, I'm done with this because of this? So now it kind of made that transition a little bit easier, so to speak.
Now the funny part, I still can, like, once I actually got to the fleet, I got to my ship, the USS Ponce LPD 15. They had a team, and funny story with that is our senior chief. I was in engineering, so it was a brother. He was the coach, and as soon as I got to the ship, I got to talking to a few people. I found out we had a team. Found out our senior chief was the coach, and I asked him, could I play? And he was like, "Man, can you play?" Like, and I'm like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Yeah, I can play." Like, I ain't saying nothing about me supposed to be playing in college, because people be that heard it all. They ain't trying to hear all that. So
exactly.
I get our ship was in dry dock then, so we in a hotel, and he come pick me up. We get to the gym on base. I forget my military ID. So now, so now, like, they weren't trying to let me get in, but then the senior chief ended up getting me in. Long story short, I dropped like 28, like the first game, and at this point they like, man, he really can play, like, and we had a good team. Like, I mean, it was some cats on there that could go, but they wasn't expecting me to come out and do anything. Now, mind you, in high school, I was a role player, like, defense, 6-man, sometimes 8, 9 man, like. Well, I was just an overall team guy. But once I got out of high school, I'm like, I got a chance to do my own thing. I kind of blossomed at that point. But yeah, so I did play while I was in the fleet, like for our ship team and stuff like that. And it's a pretty big deal, in the military leagues, which I'm sure like when it comes to intramural sports and stuff like that.
I can imagine it's highly competitive. I can imagine.
Oh yeah. When I was deployed, man, I'm gonna call it. I had 36 in the championship game, man. When we played in Afghanistan, so yeah, I do my thing with that hoop.
Oh yeah, hey, that used to be the biggest matchups for us. Is certain ships will meet up overseas and find a gym and meet up and play. Hey,
it got in. We got it in. We got it in
again.
So yeah, so this
I'd have been a scrimmage guy. That would have been me. You know what I'm saying? We practicing right now. All right, come on, let's go.
Exactly. So to kind of get into that, into what you do today, and you said you started off with the Sega Dreamcast and all that, and it's crazy. Like, I tell people, man, like, first, it's just different seeing, talking to an African American Black gamer. You know what I'm saying? So I know it's scarce in y'all community as a whole, and all I knew, and I was talking to AG about this. I was like, man, when we look at gaming, coming from our growing up, that was it. It was like live. Everybody was on live. Everybody was on Tecmo Bowl when Genesis came out. Everybody was doing their thing.
I haven't had a gaming system since like Nintendo 64. That was the last gaming system that I owned. You know what I'm saying? So, but I mean, it intrigues me. You know what I'm saying? Because like the graphics, all of that. You know what I mean? It deeply intrigues me. It's just, man, there's too many buttons on the remote controller now. That's too much coordination.
So how was that? How was that transition? Like when you started to be like, I want to start taking this serious.
We'll see from like what happened is, of course, we went from the live period, and
Yeah.
then it crossed over in the Dreamcast and started playing 2K. Because at the time AI was the biggest thing walking, and
Yeah,
so
but
him being on the cover and him being in the game and all that. I mean, we started playing. So then when I got out, um, I got a Xbox 360 when that hit the market. Started playing, 2K started evolving. I really was just playing 1v1 with my son every day, breaking controllers, and we having battles and everything like that, and stuff. And then it wasn't until 2011. At this point, when I got out of the military, I started working in long term health care. And one night
okay.
I was training somebody, and we just got to talking. Peanut, Otha. I even I went back to him when I got to
Mm,
where I'm at and told I thanked him because we this night, man, this was the night that changed my life, bro. Like in the gaming
wow.
aspect of it. He taught
Okay.
me about the crew mode, where it's the 5v5, where you would match up
Okay.
and you would be playing five other people. But he taught me how to. First of all, I was not playing online. I was just playing 1v1 with my son. I didn't have an Xbox Live account or anything like that. He
Mm-hmm.
walked me through and told me. Now we worked, but mind you, we talked about this all night. Like, and, and uh and he told me how to create an account, what type of player I need to make because I was going to play on his team. So
Okay.
I needed to make a center because obviously everybody want to be a guard, forward, and everything, so they can get the
Exactly.
ball. And
Mm-hmm.
so he taught me how to create a my player. Now the next year they pretty much did away. Next few years they didn't treat the my player mode the same. But in 2014 or 2K15, um, the my player mode was back in full effect. They had the Jordan Rec Center. Um, you know, you can get a little bit more creative with your player and everything like that. So I came across the gaming forum, and a lot it was leagues being formed, and I was trying to find out how to get into the league. So I responded.
Mm-hmm.
I put out a message on one forum. He responded back. Um, it was the ABL, American Basketball League. Um,
Mm-hmm.
this was the first league that I had got into, but it was other leagues going on that I found out about later. We
Okay.
started playing. I got a team, a group of guys together that I just randomly would meet in the rec center. We got together, formed a team, and started competing. Now during this time while I'm
Okay.
playing in this league, I'm always the type like if I get into something, I get into it. Like I mean, like once I started seeing how everything was operating, I said, "Oh man, I can do that." I want like I want to do more. Like, I want to do more than just play. Because
Mm-hmm.
so I got involved. I became an admin. Started working with the league. Organizing and setting up things. And then now I found out about the other leagues, the SBA. Shout out to Dietrich Glover. He was the creator of the SBA,
Okay.
Structured Basketball Association.
Okay.
Now this is where I met my best friend, Taiwan Fairley. He was working and playing in that league, and
Okay.
we crossed paths. And I started playing in the league, but then I started playing on his team eventually. And one night we was just sitting and talking, and he said, "Curt," he said, "Man, I think I can make a league better than all these leagues." And I said, and I can tell you it was serious. Now, mind you, we in the park, we just talking in the park. We ain't never seen each other. We don't know what each other look like or nothing. And but I said, if you want to do it, I said, I'm with you. And he's
Mm-hmm.
like, cool. I said, what's the name of the league? He's like, the MPBA. I said, what that stand for? He said, My Player Basketball Association. I'm like, cool, let's get it. Like we knew the scene. He had been working on one side, I had been working on one side. So basically, we took the best of our worlds and put it together. And in the beginning of 2015, we
Hmm.
started, and it got the rolling. Like slowly, surely got the rolling. But
What was some of the what were some of the hurdles? Any hurdles just to even get
not
to
not.
that point?
I'm gonna get to that point.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, everything cool right now because we transitioning. Uh,
Yeah, I got you.
as we get into 2016, now we blowing up. Like everybody
Okay.
and anybody who knew about the NPBA. Now, Dimes is one of the top players in our league. He plays for Mavs GG. Actually plays for Taiwan now. He was one of the first big name players to get in our league. And when he started playing, a lot of other players started following suit. And so by 2017, we the hottest thing smoked. Like we the number one league in the world. I mean, we dealing with players all across the nation, and even got into the point where we were running leagues in Europe and everything.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, it got crazy. And at this point now, some of the hurdles that we faced, naturally was that some of the leagues was like, man, if y'all, we didn't have no idea that we was gonna take it and run with it like this. Like, we got into it. We just, our first year teams would just match up. We would just keep records, have championship playoffs and different stuff like that. Now the second year, we got stats, we got awards, we got a website, we got graphics, we promoting, all the whole nine. So like we slowly basically just mimic the NBA. Try to everything that they had, we put our own little spin on it, and got the marketing. We was only on Xbox when we first started, and then we went to both consoles. And then when we went to both consoles, it is the rest is history. Like, now rightfully so. Like the WR was a league that also started at the same time that we did, the Willis Reed League, and that's my guy Ev. That runs that league, and he still runs it strong today. We were like pioneering our way through. The NPBA just broke through first, and fast forward to 2017, they announced that they were gonna have an NBA 2K league, and it's like a shockwave went through the 2K community because like now he's like our game is as an esport. Like people are actually gonna have a chance to to get drafted and get paid and to play and different things like that. So
wow,
the first season, me and Tawana ended up working with Bucks GG as their draft analysts. We basically helped them scout and draft the team. But then after that, we pretty much took a minor role and really didn't know what our future was at that point. We was kind of at a crossroads because we was having a great time doing what we was doing. It was thriving. People they playing in our league, getting their name out. Our name was getting bigger, and so we was pretty much content. But the following year, I ended up getting hired with Brooklyn. Tawan ended up getting hired with Mavs GG, and then a year later, Lawrence West, who worked with us too, he's the GM and coach for Hornets Venom GT.
Okay. So that was you basically just broke down like I went from an idea and we just ran with it, and now look where we at today. And that's kind of like what we like to talk about in terms of just building, because a lot of people get those ideas and then just stay stagnant. I don't even want to run with it. And y'all took that idea, it was like we gonna run with it. You know what I'm saying? Made it work.
And
so what was
panned out. This is all new to me, man. So like, what I mean? I'm really kind of soaking it in and taking it in because I really didn't know, what I'm saying, how broad the gaming league was. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think it's you and hundreds and thousands of others who are the same. Like it's even people who close to me, and it's like, man, I love like your success and everything that's going on, but I still don't have no idea what you do. Like,
right.
So the funny, one of the things that was unique about what we was able to accomplish was that me and Tawan didn't meet each other for 3 years when we started. We did everything, talking in parties, texting, talking on the phone. Still, didn't know what each other looked like. And when you talk about trust, and like, I never was the type, like, I was kind of a loner coming up. Like, I had my twin brother, we was being a twin growing up, you be close one minute, this to the next, because you're having a bunch of identity crisis going on.
Right.
So, we find, now we thick as thieves now, but then, we all over the place. So I never really had somebody like that's my best friend. But like Tawan, like that, like he literally was my best friend. Like, and like I said, still to this day, like we was able to formulate something, even along with West, and we wasn't together every day. We didn't physically know each other. Shoot, we could have. We could have any one of us could have ran off and did our own thing or whatever, but we stuck together. We made it work, and like you say, I mean, it's crazy. It, I still get giddy about it every time I talk about it because I remember us sitting in parties like 4 or 5 in the morning, like just talking and brainstorming about stuff we can do to be innovative and keep staying fresh. And we being there like little kids, like, man, coming up, like, man, that's dope. Like, man, let's do that. Like, whatever. So, like, I mean, it's a good feeling, and it's really a good feeling to see all of us as, I think where we should be. And it's been a ride, man. The funny story that come to mind through the whole thing, because we pretty much had some smooth transitions. It was a free league when we first started.
Okay.
It went from free because the community wanted to be able to win money.
Mm-hmm.
So we formulated a system that allowed teams to buy in, and they would be able to, win money in return based on their productivity. So a few times, some PayPal accounts would get frozen. Because Tawan served in the Navy too, and he was active duty while we was doing this, and like it would be times where I can't get in touch with him because he out on the water. So I'm running stuff till he get back and different things like that. So we different stories like that. He'd be gone. Different like I said, accounts would get locked up, different things like that. And then one particular time with our website, we had somebody work on it. He for whatever reason he got mad and uh, he basically held up the website and until we had the money to pay him, like to pay him what he wanted us to pay. Like, and
he'd have had it for ransom.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he'd have had it for ransom.
Now, trust, I'm laughing now, but at the time, I'm like,
I know, yeah, you pissed off.
He playing with our baby, man. Like, this is like, but we end up, we sent him the money. He released it. I mean, and went on. I probably feel like now I don't know what he was going through, but if you was with us back then, you probably where you want to be right now. Because I mean, we did it together. I mean, and we looked out for each other, and it's like I say, it's just a great feeling. The unique story about Brooklyn for me though. I was working. I went from long-term healthcare. I also was coaching high school basketball. I was doing home healthcare too. But then when I stopped doing long-term healthcare, I went into group home work where I was a manager at a group home. Okay. And what this did was allow me at night, when the kids were asleep and, I got my work done, I could still work on the league and do a lot of different things. And plus the owner, my precious sister, Donna Clark, and her husband, Arthur Clark, they own the group home. And her mom and my mom were best friends. And so it's like a family. It's like a family at this point. And
right.
Although she didn't have no idea what I was doing a lot of times at night, and still running the league. But once she seen it and found out, I mean, she was happy for me and everything like that. But it allowed me a lot of downtime to be able to work on the league and do a lot of things. Well, one morning, 6:30 in the morning, I'll never forget. Email shoot across my iPad. It was a message from Joshua Prush, who's the senior vice president for global partnerships for BSE. Mm-hmm. And, he basically sent me the email. He stated who he was and was told that he needed to talk to me, about a position. And we responded at 6:35. And by 9 a.m., we having a conversation. And at the end of the conversation, he told me like this was one of the best conversations that he had from anybody that he had spoke with and that he'd be in touch. And I said, cool. Like at this point, I don't know what I'm excited, but like me, I'm never the type to be. I'm always like in the middle. Like I don't want to be way up here to have to get knocked back down, and I don't want to be way down here to get knocked even lower.
Remain
Right?
neutral. Yeah, remain neutral.
So I ended up, 2 weeks later, I came on as a special advisor, and now at this point, I'm still like I'm giddy, but I'm not like I don't know if I'm the guy or what. So I came together. Nicholas Gartrell, who's now the head coach for T Wolves game, and he worked with me in season 1 at Brooklyn. But at this time, we were working together and helping build the team for the expansion draft because we were a new team. Okay. So we complete the expansion draft. We draft our 2 players, and then a few weeks later, I get promoted, and then after that, I was named the GM and head coach, and it was
that's dope. That's dope.
Now the only thing a lot of people didn't know at this time though, and like even my brother didn't think about it this time. Like my mom passed away right before I got named the GM and head coach. Like so like it was like one of those moments where like I was considering to be like the happiest time of my life, but it was also the lowest time of my life too. Like,
just a few days after. A few days after.
Yeah, so it's but I know she got to see some of the progress. Like when I was going back and forth to New York with the Bucks, GG, and doing different things like that. It was she still got to kind of get a feel for what I was doing, but she didn't get to see the end result. And like that's something that really stung me in the first season because right before our first game, it's emotional. We Brooklyn coming in, we a new team, we playing against the Knicks. We just won the championship in season 1. I took a Knicks player that was the Finals MVP, and he was on my team now playing for Brooklyn. So it's like we the prime time, like so it's New York and New York, and I'm sitting up in my apartment right before we supposed to go down and get on the shuttle, and I'm crying. I'm crying like you wouldn't believe. Like so many emotions going through me. I wish my mom was here to see it and everything.
Right.
And luckily for us, we won our first game and went on completed that season. We finished 7-9, and it was we had a chance to control our own destiny and make the playoffs, but unfortunately we didn't. But it was still a good year.
So were there any just on the race side of it when you talk about gaming, being of course African American, is there any type of looks against y'all differently, or how was it just kind of like when y'all started to kind of kick y'all way into that door?
No, this is where things is always different for me because like I've never experienced anything like obvious or blatant. So like,
gotcha.
It's been I think for me, I say this all the time. I mean, Brooklyn for me is like it's one thing to do what I call it dream work. Like, I mean, this was an idea 5-6 years ago. Like, if you were to say, "Hey, Curt, you're going to be the GM and head coach for Brooklyn Nets esports," I would have been like, "Man, what are you talking about?" Like, you know what I'm saying, or whatever. So it's at this point, it's like it's a dream. It's dream work in a dream place. Like, I mean, Brooklyn is really diverse. I haven't had any like I mean, nothing negative or anything. I mean, from the partnerships team, it's a great crew. Even I mean, it's just everything. And Josh, I tell you this, Josh Press is like one of the best mentors I've had. At this corporate level. I mean, and to be where I'm at, and to have somebody who is willing to help groom because I'm in a different position. I've never been in a position like this before. Did I feel like I had the skill set and the leadership capabilities and different things like that? Yeah, but to actually be sitting in the same offices that people who work for the Islanders, the Nets, The Nets, the Islanders, the Barclays Center, all of that. I mean, this new territory for me, and I mean, I think I've handled it well, but it's been largely due to the people surrounding me, from PR to to partnerships team to, like I said, Josh Press. I mean, what we call him, JP. I mean, it's has been a great experience. I mean, and even Brooklyn I mean, it's a nice borough. Like, I mean, all different types of people. I mean, at the Barclays Center, the staff is welcoming. I mean, like, it's a lot of us. Like, I mean, so it's like I said, if I knowing what I know now, Brooklyn would probably be would be the premier place that I want to be and want to stay.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
So do any, like, I know what you've been with Brooklyn. So in terms of the league, is it set up to where, like, say, a pro player can come into y'all league and play with y'all? Do y'all have pro players in y'all leagues as well, like just part of the teams, or no?
Unfortunately, I mean, due to agreements and different things like that, not at the moment.
Okay.
It's hopefully we get to that point, but we're not there yet. I believe we will, but we're not there yet. But not at the moment.
I find that hard to believe. It's because the NBA is getting younger, and all these dudes game. So it's like,
all that. That's definitely not the issue. It's just it's just all in the paperwork. But now they definitely they shut us out. I mean, different things like that. And I mean, a time or two. I mean, some games get played here and there, but we can't. It's not. You get what I'm saying. But
right.
But it's from my side of it. It's an awesome experience. I mean, obviously we go to the games. I've been to the practice facility. Where they practice and train at. I mean, just the overall experience. I mean, like I said, Brooklyn. I can't speak for any other organization in the 2K. I know what Brooklyn does for me and the people around me. And last year, I got to mention this guy because he's my right hand guy. And it's one of those things where it's probably no me without him. But YL Ankuni, his nickname is Beast in the 2K community. But he serves as our social media manager, and he's my assistant GM. And great kid. I'm twice his age, and we got the perfect relationship. I mean, we complete each other. I mean, the things that he's great at, he does it, and the thing that I'm great at, I do it. I mean, and we work together hand in hand. Not saying that we always agree or that everything is always
we understand that.
But I think the one thing that sets us together is that we got a strong work ethic. We both love Brooklyn, and we're just all about trying to win and what's best for the organization. So, and he's from Michigan, so he's only 4 hours away. I'm probably gonna head up there sometime soon, and we get together. But yeah, he's from Michigan, so another Midwest guy. We found our way in New York, and I mean, he'd be another one. I mean, he has a great story and how he got into the ropes, because for him, he's not only our social media manager, but he works on the Brooklyn Nets side in social media. So, and he's killing it. He's only in his early 20s. I mean, he's the youngest. He at one point he was the youngest employee at BSE. So I mean that tells you like what he's doing for himself. But yes.
Hey, we want to shout him out then, man. Yeah, we need you on here to have that conversation, young fella.
Indeed. Yeah, we welcome you.
I'll tell him about it. I mean, great kid, man, with a bright future. I mean, I tell him all the time he'd probably be taking over for me.
That's what's up.
After a while, but he's good for what we do.
Already. So with COVID and with everything that's been going on, has it been more of an uptick in how they want with the leagues now? Like a lot of people, like, hey, we need this move. I know. So I've been looking at the league when y'all was going at it on when ESPN was broadcasting everything and everything was moving, and it's crazy to see the intensity in it. You know what I'm saying? When people are playing, it ain't no joke. Like, we out here.
Yeah, the thing about it is, when when the delay of our season, from COVID and everything like that, it was, we didn't know what was going to happen. I think, you know, shout out to the league for, taking steps and moving. I think what seems like a long time as we sat and wait, but I think they moved at a phenomenal pace to make sure that we still had a season. And basically we played remote. Everybody played from their own market. It did allow us the exposure from ESPN. I mean, because obviously sports, traditional sports wasn't on the schedule as usual. So it gave us an in, and I think we took full advantage of it. They covered tournaments. They covered our regular season games, playoff games, championship games. So I think it was.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
It was major because I be checking it because it wasn't. I mean, as we both know, wasn't no sports really going on, and with everybody being stuck in the house, that's pretty much what everybody was doing. They was on games and doing what they was doing. So when ESPN started, what's name? I was getting into it like, okay, you know what I'm saying? Like they moving out here. They know. I was like, it was fun. It was fun.
Yeah, because a lot of times when people hear the word esports, they like they don't know what it is, and then when they finally realize what it is, they're like, oh, like I mean, they're professional gaming, like people actually getting paid.
Hey, I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. You have given me, you know what I'm saying? This conversation right here has given me a new level of respect for it. You know what I mean? Like I said, I haven't been into gaming, and since I had surgery on my knee, I ain't, not much of a sportsman, but you giving me a new level of respect for it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, whoa, that's why I'm just kind of sitting here, taking it in again. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, and I take that as my, obviously it's my responsibility as a statesman for, the SGC is to promote the brand and promote the league and basically bring awareness because a lot of people don't know. I remember a lot of people like they really didn't know what I was doing when we first started. A lot of people used to think, even my ex-wife, she used to think I'm just sitting there playing the game the whole time. And I realized that I'm running a full-fledged, well-oiled machine right from my couch. Like, me and Tavon sitting, talking, running things, have my laptop with me, different things like so. A lot of people think like, man, he's sitting there playing a game all the time. Even my aunt and uncle, my aunt Jean and my uncle Phil, we had went down south one time. One of my little brother had passed away, and I had took my game with me. And when we wasn't doing anything, I was in a hotel playing the game. I was like, man, he's always on the game. So, and then I had other stories where with other people like, man, that's all he doing. He always on the game. I tell y'all, even like to keep saying, like when my mom was in the hospital and and at the point where we knew she probably wasn't going to make it. I had my laptop. I was there with her all night, all day and all night with my laptop, everything still running, the leads and different stuff like that. And even a lot of family members like, man, what are you doing? Like, like they, and now they're like, oh, we get it. Like, but at the time, I'm looking like this madman. Like, I'm like, people didn't know what to
play this game.
Right.
Exactly.
And it's crazy because like me being a single man, you come across females and they be like, I'd be like, well, what happened? He's got on my nerves. All he did was play the damn game all the time. That's all he did. You know what I'm saying? Play the damn game all the time. You know what I mean? So now I can tell them females, hey man, hello, slow down. That brother was probably making money, man.
No trust. Now, I'm about as humble as they come. I mean, real talk. Like, I mean, I always been the same low key homebody. If my mom used to say, honey, be safe. I said, Mom, they either gonna get me at work, they gonna get me in the gym, or they gonna get me at home. Like, I ain't out doing that or whatever. But those conversations be a little different. Like now, like compared to, I hear the stories about women that the guy playing it, but nah, I became the game. Like I wasn't.
First thing you want to do. All you want to do is play the game. I'm gonna break. I'm gonna break the whole game system. You know what I mean? I'm gonna throw the game out. You know what I mean? I'm gonna tell you, shawty, slow down, man. Right. You might want to go to Kendall there with that brother. You know what I'm saying? Tell him you sorry. You know what I'm saying?
You letting them know what Jay-Z say. I'm a business man. You know what I'm saying? So got to keep it going. So that's love, man. That's love, and that was my thing too. Because like I said, having a son and understanding, and I like for these type of stories and these conversations to be had because a lot of kids don't understand. Like it's more to it than just playing the game. Like individuals who create these leagues, they put the work in. It's investment, it's work, it's time, it's everything, and you got to be committed to it. Even if it's just playing the game, but you got to be committed to it if you want to get it. So what's kind of like your advice out there to people who trying to get into this?
I mean, for me, it's obviously if you have something that you're passionate about, because like this was my thing. I've always been somebody that just works on passion, and that money was never the motive. Like I mean, I believe if you're passionate about something, the money will come. Like the money will come. I mean, the one thing, if you notice, the whole time while I told my story, I was working 2-3 jobs.
Exactly.
I wasn't. So it was never about the money. And then, mind you, those jobs that I was working, I truly loved those jobs. So I didn't mind getting up, going to work, and coming home. And it kind of goes into like what I had seen on a meme from The Rock is like, don't spend 8 hours a day going to work for somebody and then come home and don't spend 8 hours on your own dream. And so basically, um, that's where I was at. I was working 8 to 12 hours doing other things, but I still was believing in what I was doing. And I didn't let any negativity bother me, any jokes or anything like that. I stayed true with it because now I wouldn't say the jokes on everybody else.
You can say it. Be humble right now.
It is, it is. Those that doubted me, you know what I mean? Look at me now. You know what I'm saying? Hey, it's righteously earned. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because even my twin brother, he's not a gamer. Like he'll play, like he's in the golf, like he plays golf and stuff like that. So he'll play like the golf games and stuff like that. But he didn't understand at the time, and now it took for him to come out to New York because he'd come out there and stay with me anytime he felt like it. I didn't care. And he came out there and actually seen the arena and seen the vibe and seen like everything that go into it. And then he seen like the respect and admiration that the community had for me. And he was like, bro, he was like, this what he actually said. He was like, man, you downplay the shit out of this, man. Like he was like, you made it seem like, but see, this is my nature though. Like I'm not really poke my chest out. Like
I mean, because you in your habitat, it's natural and you used to it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but like
because I ain't gonna lie, when I went to your Facebook page, you know what I mean, I was like, it kind of opened my eyes. I was like, dang, like you know what I mean, the video with the whole office setup with all the computer. You know what I mean? I'm like, whoa, you know what I mean? This is really major. You know what I'm saying? Like,
it's small.
Right. I mean, yeah. So it by the time he left, he was like, man, I get it. He's like, man, I'm proud of you. Like, he was like, my aunt, everybody who's came back around was like, man, like, I'm proud of you. Like, I mean, and like I said, I mean, still to this day, I'll never get tired. I mean, I telling my story because like, it's young kids out here who look like me, and it's a lot of opportunities in front of them. Because guess what? I didn't go pro, getting drafted to play in the NBA, but I'm in the NBA.
You're in the NBA. That's about to say you did.
It's a lot of avenues, and like, yeah, I might be the general manager and coach, but you can be a player, you can be a videographer, you can be a graphic artist, you can be a journalist. I tell a lot of people now that I used to coach when they was in high school. About when they're in college, like what do they want to? They had a loss, so like what do they want to do? Now I'm working it inside. I can tell them different things to do that can help put them in positions to work for an NBA franchise or anything like
That's
that.
dope.
So it's always been about giving back at the end of the day for me. I mean, trust me. I'm blessed and I know I'm doing something that a lot of people would like to do that knows about it, and I don't take it for granted one bit. I mean, I go at this hard every day and make sure I'm on top and doing what I need to do. I still got that same passion. Actually, when I get off, I got a league game. I got a tournament game tonight that I got to play in.
Get ready to get on. You know what I'm saying?
So I mean, but the main thing is, like I said, passion, man. I've made that post before about choosing passion over money, and I had some people question me about it. And like I tell them, I say, I'm not in the business of really arguing, but all I'm saying is it worked for me. And so I won't tell a kid not to chase their dream, but do understand, because I told people for a while I never posted anything about what I was doing. I didn't post any. Matter of fact, the news didn't hit big in my hometown until somebody seen a newspaper from my local newspaper, Dayton Daily News, and somebody had posted it on Facebook. And I didn't, and then I caught wind of it, and that's when everybody pretty much like, oh man, like the NBA, like so it didn't even come from me. Like I actually didn't start posting stuff until I made it. Like I mean, and when I say made it, I ain't saying I'm done, but I'm just saying I actually I accomplished something.
I'm here,
right now, and
I knocked on the door and it opened.
And what I told kids though, I said, in the post that I made about it, is I said, don't get blinded by the highlights, because what I'm posting now is a highlight, like of me making it and becoming a GM and coach for the next GC. But the grunt work, like the dark, what you doing in the dark, what you doing when nobody looking, what you doing when nobody telling you to do it. Like I mean, because trust me, man, I'm telling y'all, it was many a day I was tired. Like I mean, I work at the group home, get off, go do home health, go to practice, run practice. I'll be there anywhere from 2 to 4 hours. Get off, go home, mess around with the game, do things, and I'm going back. Like I used to do that a lot, and I still, I had a daughter who was in high school. She played like nobody, and still like it didn't even take to now. Like she's grown now, but they didn't even know what was going on. Like all this time, like, and that's one of the funniest things. I do want to say this, in talking to the kids, is that I put myself in position. I got a scholarship in my name with the Yellow Brick Company, and and it's basically a scholarship that will allow kids to be able to have opportunities to get into the world of esports. And Yellow Brick is they have a curriculum that they're gonna have, and I'm one of the few. It's a few other individuals who have scholarships in their names, but that's one of my most proud accomplishments, more than anything else, is to be able to help encourage kids that want to get into this field and have that opportunity.
Man, you got to definitely shoot us out some of that information, man, so we can put it out there on our platform as well, man. We are in the business of advertising for those, like yourself. You know what I'm saying? Just the whole thing is, hey, support. Support system and networking. So if you have any information you can send to us on that, we can put it on the platform for the viewers that we have and whatnot that may be interested. The youngsters. You know what I mean?
Definitely. We definitely we'll link up and I get everything out of here. I mean, I'm all for that. All for that.
For sure. So as we get ready to close, man, like we said, man, I want to thank OG King Curt. He just kind of broke down, like he said, he was making moves. That's how real OGs move inside. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Just letting people know and understand, man. You don't got to broadcast everything you're doing for people to, you know what I'm saying? I don't got to let you know what I'm doing, man. Just know I'm doing something. That's all you need to know. You know what I'm saying? Just keep that in mind, man. So we definitely salute you, man, and for definitely enlightening us on that world. And I'm definitely about to pay attention more. My son, he working hard trying to get into one of y'all leagues. So he doing what he got to do to become a player, man. But we appreciate it, man. Go ahead and let the people know how they can reach out to you, OG.
OG King Curt. It's OG KINGCURT on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. I also got the OG 2 Cents podcast that you can follow on those platforms as well, and all the major streaming platforms. I want to thank y'all for having me on, man. This is a good conversation, man. Like,
yeah, man.
I brought out some. I brought out some old memories, man. That
that's what we do.
yeah, definitely they're not going nowhere. But no, man,
real deal.
But no, thank y'all for having me, man. And I definitely, I'm gonna link with y'all and get information and just anybody who watching this episode, man. Don't if you want to learn more or whatever, just DM me. I trust when I get a chance, I respond to my DMs. I don't ignore any. That was one of my trademarks back when I was coming up. It's like, man, Curt, he always respond to everybody, and I try to do that. I mean, I can't get to you as quick as I used to, but I get to.
Exactly, and we just want to respect it because what he just said right there was another gem. Because as we always say on the show, we like to drop gems. He has no issue helping you get the way he at. You know what I'm saying? It sounds like he's more about, I want to keep circulating what I got going on within our community to help us continue to grow and extend. So that's what it's about, man. You don't need these gatekeepers keeping these gates closed, man. We need y'all to go ahead and keep trying to put somebody where you at, man, so they can prosper and do what you gotta do. So
promote growth in the community. Promote growth in our, in our people. Promote growth and strength in us. You know what I'm saying? That's what it's about.
On that note, if you're worried about somebody taking your spot, 9 times out of 10, you don't deserve to be there.
Facts.
I like how you put that. Yeah.
Oh, facts. AG, let them know how they can reach us, man.
Hey, first of all, let me tell the family, man, this was a great conversation, man. I appreciate OG King Curt coming out and joining us today. He didn't drop some gems on me that I was, somewhat ignorant to, So thanks for enlightening me on the situation, you know what I'm saying? And, for the family as well, this is, Chuck, you agree with me, 2 conversations, 2 days in a row that, by the end of you hear that, chasing your dreams and your passion, is a great idea. You know what I'm saying? And your dreams and your passions are for you. You know what I'm saying? That's you. Don't worry about what outside influences have to say. You know what I'm saying? Don't worry about the naysayers. You know what I'm saying? If that's your passion, chase your passion, chase your goals. But again, this is Big Money No Problems Talk podcast show. You can find us on BMNP underscore ENT on Instagram, BMNP underscore podcast on Twitter, Big Money No Problems Casting on SoundCloud, Big Money No Problems ENT on Facebook, every major podcast platform. You know what I'm saying? We ain't hard to find, y'all. You know what I mean?
Definitely ain't going nowhere, man. So we appreciate everybody for paying attention to us tonight, man. Like, we're going to keep doing what we're doing, dropping gems and keep giving y'all conversations I'd like to hear. So once again, man, we want to thank OG King Curt. Check everything. Check out that OG 2 Cent podcast, everything he got going on. And definitely we salute, man. We appreciate everybody. As we always say, man, stay blessed. Peace.
Peace.